Hey everybody, welcome to the Two Sisters Writing and Publishing YouTube channel. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins and I am one of the two sisters. Catherine will be here shortly for our podcast, our video podcast, 10,000 Things, where we tell you the 10,000 things you need to know before you write and publish a book. But in the interim, I want to share with you some really exciting news. Lots of great stuff is happening here at Two Sisters Writing and Publishing. Among them, our latest book is a blockbuster. It is a bestseller. It's called Enough to be Dangerous by Mort Meisner. He is a former TV news executive turned talent agent for TV talent all across America. He's an amazing man, and his book is just rocking it because it's called One Agent's Life in TV News and Rock and Roll, because he got his start in his career in rock and roll. He was a promoter during the 70s for some of the biggest bands around, including Elton John, David Bowie, Kiss. And he just has these wild stories about promoting concerts in Detroit. And then he became a news director in Detroit, St. Louis, and Chicago, and he tells all these wild stories here in the book about it. So you can get it on Amazon in hardcover and paperback. We also have two more books coming out. In November, we have Baby's First Year, a survival guide for new and experienced parents by Dr. Eduardo Sanchez, who operates Clinica del Norte Pediatrics in San Antonio, Texas. And it's the same neighborhood where he grew up, and he's father of five, and he is creating this guidebook for new parents about how to care for a baby. So it's really an awesome book. That's coming out soon. And we also have a young man on the front line, Lessons of War. And it's by Elaine Mackes, PhD. And she wrote this beautiful memoir from her father's perspective as a young soldier in World War II, fighting in the US Army against the Germans to liberate France. It is so beautifully written. So we're really excited about all the wonderful projects that we're presenting. My next book is called Goddess Be One: How to Ignite Your Infinite Power. And I'm really excited to present that. It's all about empowerment and exciting ways that women can seize our inner power and present our most passionate, exciting, helpful, innovative ideas and energy to the world. So lots of great stuff happening here at Two Sisters Writing and Publishing. Another thing is that my 6-month group book coaching program, that's a mouthful, right? We are having session number 4 this week. Really excited about that. And I'm going to be talking about all the different ways to get published. My next session of my group book coaching program is going to start in January. And it teaches you everything you need to know to write and publish a book. We meet monthly. You get individual sessions with me. And it's really, really wonderful because I provide the guidance, the mindset, the motivation, the mechanics that a lot of people need in order to actually write their book. They've been working on it forever and a day. It's not getting done. And finally, when they get the assistance that they need from me, they're able to finally finish the book and publish it. Now, those are some of the things that Catherine and I will be talking about here on 10,000 Things. And here she is. Yay! It's Catherine. Hi, Catherine.
Hello, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Terrific.
I love your haircut.
Oh, thanks a million.
You're welcome.
This is my first haircut since January.
I love it. That's awesome.
Thanks.
So, welcome to Book Talks. This is the vidcast with Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, where we talk about the 10,000. Oh my God.
Welcome to the 10,000 Things podcast.
Oh my gosh, sometimes your brain goes into autopilot. So Book Talks is the show that I host here on our YouTube channel where I interview our authors, and they have to know the 10,000 things too. So pardon that.
It's okay. There are 10,000 things going on in your mind right now, so it's okay. It happens.
That is totally true. And yes, absolutely. So let's just start over.
Okay.
Welcome to 10,000 Things, the podcast here on the YouTube channel for Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, where we talk about the 10,000 things you need to know to write and publish and promote your book. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins.
And I'm Catherine Greenspan.
And today we're going to continue our conversation about what type of author are you? We've already talked about the type of author who doesn't want to do the writing, who wants to hire a ghostwriter or an angel writer to do the work for them. So Catherine, what are we going to talk about today?
So today we're going to talk about the second type of first-time author. And this is the person who's never written a word. They have the idea for the story completely in their head, and they have no idea how to start. They have zero content. They want to do it, but they lack the discipline. They lack the accountability. They don't even know they lack discipline or accountability. They just have no clue how or where to start. This person differs from the previous type of author because this person wants to write the book themselves.
So if you find yourself in that position where you have this burning desire to write a book, but you just don't know where to start because it's overwhelming, that's where you might benefit from working with a book coach. Now, a book coach is someone who can help you strategize how to proceed. A book coach can help you set up a schedule so that you can carve out the time in your schedule every day. And the book coach can also help you crystallize your idea, focus in on it, and determine who's your target audience, who are you writing for, who's your ideal reader, what is your book about, why are you writing this book, and what is your goal with it? Catherine?
Yeah, so we have a really great success story about this type of writer, and her name is Sakina Tanzil.
Mm-hmm.
Sakina joined our writing group, our writing club last year, and she wanted to write a book. She is a certified cyber security career coach. So her business is, what she does is she helps students and young professionals who are entering the STEM field, I'm reading from her website, find a career they love and that they can develop over time. STEM, of course, refers to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And these are critical fields. And they're generally filled with men. So a lot of women want to go into these fields and they just need some guidance to help navigate. So Sakina had a burning desire to write a book to support her business, to boost her business, and to support her clients, and to bring some diversity to the world of cybersecurity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And she knew that she needed accountability, so she came to our writing club, which meets 3 times a week online, that enables you to have the time and space dedicated to doing the writing. And guess what? She finished her book. She even showed up on her birthday to write. And then she just launched it this month, and she actually had a training where she taught people how to apply the content in the book to their careers. So that's a really important aspect of what we were just discussing, in that you can take, when you know what your outcome, your objective, your why for your book is, you can use it as a tool in your online teaching curriculum that can monetize your course, that can legitimize you and boost your authority as a teacher and an expert in your field. It can amplify your standing in your area of expertise, and it can make you a media source for content or interviews about commentary about whatever's happening. So she could potentially be a spokesperson that the media could call on when there's stories about cybersecurity. So it's all about strategy. If you don't want to work with a book coach, I recommend you just sit down and start writing. Even if you take a notebook, spend 30 minutes a day, or determine how much time each week you want to invest in your writing endeavor. This is going to sort of segue into another phase of this, Catherine. I want to talk about Dr. Herman Williams, because
before we get to our beloved Herman Williams, I just want to add that one thing that Sakina got from being in the writing club is one of the things that we do in the writing club is every week we send out an email, and it's just a quick 5-minute, how did you do for your writing week? So how do you measure your goals? Do you measure them by showing up, by word count, by setting aside the time? And then that's another thing for accountability, because a lot of times we can't get that accountability internally. We need it externally. So Sakina was diligent every single week. She filled out her accountability sheet. So she just set a goal to get it done. And she set her goals. She set her parameters. As you said, Elizabeth, you've just got to start writing. So that was one way that she did it, is she just said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it at this pace per week, and I'm going to be done in a year. And she did it. So
yeah. So it's really about making that commitment. And when you have other people involved in your commitment, that's what breeds the accountability. And that's what a book coach can do for you. And that's what joining a group like the writing club can do for you.
Yeah.
And so you're not in it alone, because writing is a very solitary pursuit. Now, should you decide to write your book by yourself, go for it. But then you might reach a point where you either decide, I don't want to do this by myself, or my writing isn't as good as I thought it was. So Dr. Herman Williams, who you can see in book talks here on the channel, I interview him about his book, and he talks about how he wrote the first portion of his memoir about how he dropped dead at age 31 and lived to tell about it and write a book about it. He has a very unique story, very powerful and inspiring, but he realized that his writing style was very academic and boring. He calls it that himself. And so he found me as a book coach first on LinkedIn. And then he said, you know what, why don't you just do this? So I became his ghostwriter or angel writer. And I took what he had written and I jazzed it up. I made it way more engaging, energetic. I made it sound like he wrote it, but I wrote it. And people love it. It's really awesome. So that's like the next phase. Like you try to write it yourself, but you still need help. So Catherine, we both were engaged in helping Herman write his book. And what do you think about that process?
I think that it takes a while before someone who is intending on writing their own book to actually realize that they might need some help. And I think in your book talks interview, Herman said he would likely be still working on it if he hadn't met you. He worked on it for 20 years and then realized he was never going to finish it.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we do for people is help them when they're at that stage of like, it's not done, but I don't know what to do next, is we do manuscript reviews, which we've done that for a number of people. And it's sort of like a checkpoint for people who've written the book themselves to say, is it any good? Is it, right. Am I getting my point across? Is my voice consistent? That is a huge concern of first-time authors, because to have the consistent voice from page 1 to page 200, sometimes we don't hear when we're writing that our voice is consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And we have opinions about the things that we're reading because we wrote them. So we're not the best judge. So often coming to that point of just having a check-in when you have written it yourself and then getting some feedback is critical.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like you said, it can help people, like it helped Herman realize, wait a minute, at this rate, I'm never going to get it done. I need some intervention and I need some assistance.
Mm-hmm. Right. And another thing is that as a first-time author, the confidence isn't always there. And you kind of feel like, well, what am I doing? Am I doing this right? Is it good enough? And so working with a coach, or at least having an accountability partner or somebody to give you that feedback, can help you affirm that, yes, this is great. This is really good. It's got great potential. It just needs a little help here and there, and then it can be published. Whereas some people can just sit down and write their book and really, really master it. So, for example, we're about to publish A Young Man on the Front Line, Lessons of War by Elaine Mackis, PhD. And she was actually in my book coaching program from January to July. And she incorporated all the things I said. And then she sent me the manuscript, and I was just blown away. It was so beautifully done. But she said it was the techniques that I taught that enabled her to take this really powerful content, her father's story as a young soldier in World War II in the army, liberating France from Germany, and weaving it all together into a book. It's so beautifully written. So sometimes you have the content, it's like you're in the kitchen and you have all the ingredients for a delicious meal, but you really need the recipes. You really need someone to tell you how much of the spice to add and how long to cook this and how, So she did it, and she had help, but she wrote the book herself. So there's every author is different, but don't be afraid to ask for help and get it. Like, she had a few private coaching sessions with me, and then she was also in my group book coaching program. And that was all she needed but guess what? That gave her some information and guidance, but she had to sit down and do the work. And the work is hard. It takes a lot of discipline. Believe me, sitting in this chair, hours and hours, getting the work done, it's tedious, but that's what it takes. And it's glorious when you finish. You can do it. You can do it. And Catherine, you've written 3 young adult novels. Do you have any guidance on when you had these ideas for the Veronica series and then you sat down and actually did it? Do you have any guidance to our viewers about, how did you do that? How did you take an idea and come up with 3 young adult novels in a series?
The same way that we're just talking about, I set some deadlines and some goals, and I got it. I just charged forward.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it takes, is just setting goals and charging forward and really being determined.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. So the past couple workshops I've taught with the Detroit Writing Room, a lot of times people say they're scared. There's a tremendous fear factor with writing a book. You're exposing what's in your heart and your soul. You're exposing information that, might not be well received by everybody. You might be criticized. You might face consequences. Someone might be mad, or someone could even sue you. So there's fear around that. So my advice is identify if you're afraid, because if you've been trying to write a book for years and years and you're just not getting it done, something is blocking you. You need to know what it is that's blocking you so that you can blast past it, release it, heal it, whatever, resolve it, so you can get the book done. Otherwise, just stop. It's like with anything else. If you've been trying to lose 20 pounds for 10 years and you just there's something stopping you, blocking you, more than just the fact that you like to eat. Really important to understand what's blocking your writing. And I don't mean writer's block. Catherine and I don't really endorse that idea. Writer's block is like you have low energy days and high energy days. And on low energy days, don't try to write. It's too hard. Go vacuum, go grocery shopping, go do something else, and come back when your energy is high and you're in your highest creative zone. Really important. And that's something that as a coach, I tell people, understand when is your genius zone most likely to occur? Is it in the morning after you've had coffee? Is it after you exercise? Is it in the middle of the night when everybody else is asleep? When is it? You need to know your body's rhythm, your brain's rhythm, what you need to eat and drink or not eat and drink in order to have your highest brain energy. You need to know what to do with your mind, body, and spirit. Like exercise is the best warm up for writing because it energizes your body, it sharpens your brain, it gets you so pumped, and something happens with your creativity. It's just explodes. Same with certain foods. If you drink coffee, it can really boost your creativity. Or you know what, you've got to get enough sleep. You have to have the right temperature, or if it's too warm, you get sleepy. These are all things you need to know as a first-time author to tweak so that you can have the ideal atmosphere to get the writing done. Do you agree with that, Catherine?
I totally agree. And I remember a lot of years ago, I learned the difference. Like people always talk about time management. And when I learned about, it's not really about time management, it's about energy management.
Oh.
So that goes back to what you said, like, when do you work best? Like if you want to write your book, but you're constantly carving out time from 8 to 9 in the evening and it's never getting done because that's just not a good time, or your brain isn't on, try something else. Try doing it in the middle of the day, try the morning, try doing it on the weekends, but keep trying to find the place, the time and the place where your energy is really boosted and your brain is really, really working for writing, because it may not be that you may be trying to write at times when you're really not feeling the right energy. I know that a lot of people who've written books have said that it finally happened when they started waking up earlier before the rest of the house got up. They had the time to themselves and it was peaceful. And they knew it was like a finite period, and that was like the thing that worked for them the most. So just keep working, and if you can't, if you're still struggling, ask for some help.
Yeah, I love that point. When I was writing my first novel, I was a reporter at the Detroit News, and I would get up at like 5 a.m. and write. And it was awesome because I felt like I had a jump start on the day. And then whatever I accomplished would just boost my confidence and happiness for the rest of the day, feeling like I was really making progress on my novel. And I did. I finished it in 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
it's really fun, and it's awesome when you like start seeing that word count pile up. Like this weekend, I was working on a book and I had to write a chapter. And I wrote 4,400 words. It was a chapter, and I wove together all this material. And it's like you play a head game with yourself. Like you have to psych yourself up. And again, follow all those things when you're well rested, you've had your coffee, you've exercised, you've eaten the right foods, and you've got the time and space, and boom, get it done. And then when you finish, it's the best feeling, like, wow, I did it, and it's good. You want to feel confident about what you created. So that comes with practice. And 33 books later, I can say that. So
Right. So if you are the second type of writer where you've got the ideas, you just don't know how to get started, just ask for some help, or just do some free writing to figure out, well, what does it actually look like for you to be a writer? Like, what do you feel like that means? Sort of explore that and then make it happen, or find some accountability systems, set some things up.
There's lots of ways you can do that. You can work with a book coach. You can join a writing group, because a lot of writing groups require that you produce X amount of pages and then convene and review with each other. So that will keep you accountable. You can also work with if you commit to a publisher, then you're going to have a deadline that you have to meet those obligations. So do whatever you know yourself best. So whatever's going to keep you the most accountable, you should try. Because if you truly have a burning desire to write a book, now is like the best time to do it. A lot of times, well, the pandemic is continuing, so we're staying home to stay safe, and a lot of people have extra time. Even if you're working at home, you're no longer commuting, so you could use that extra hour or however much time it was to drive to work as your writing time. And it's all about a commitment. It's all about making it a priority, and it's all about having the discipline to get it done and the vision to see where you're going and what you want to do with it. And if you have a mission attached to your book, if it's something that you want to help people everywhere with your knowledge, your expertise, your how-to, your instructions, then it's all the more imperative that you get it done, because you could be saving someone's life, changing someone's life right now when they're reading your book.
Sorry, next time we are going to talk about the third type of first-time writer, and that's the person who has started a couple of times, had some really great writing sessions, gotten a ton written down, but has zero confidence and doesn't consider any of those words that they've written down to be worthwhile. We're going to dive into that next time.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that is powerful. And lots of people come to us and that's kind of their story. So we're excited to provide the impetus, the guidance, the inspiration that can help people push past that and actually get the book done and publish it and share it with people everywhere and make a positive difference in the world. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, and I'm so happy that you joined us here for 10,000 Things, the 10,000 things you need to know to write and publish your book, here on the Two Sisters Writing and Publishing YouTube channel. Catherine, any parting words?
Nope, just tune in next time. And don't forget to tune into Book Talks, where Elizabeth interviews our published authors.
Yeah.
And we're going to have more types of talks coming up, but we'll save that for another time.
Yeah, we have lots of exciting news. Well, thank you for joining us, and we will see you on the next episode of 10,000 Things with Two Sisters Writing and Publishing. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins.
And I'm Catherine Greenspan, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye, and happy writing.